Suite 317 here at Lipscomb University. I'm Will Sager, the host of your favorite show, The High Risers, brought to you today with guest star Will Grogan, all the way from Auburn. Let's give him a round of applause here tonight, everybody.
Thank you.
Anything to say?
Well, I'm really excited to be here. It's been a rough couple COVID weeks at Auburn University. Excited to be in the High Risers and back with some OGs.
Amen. We're gonna get right into the action here. We're gonna start off this week. Recent activity, trades, drama, injuries, and news from around the league. I think you had something to say about one particular man who we've all been seeing in the recent activity.
So yeah, we've been seeing a lot of recent waiver wire activity from the one and only Green Eggs and Cam, getting all of his advice straight from r/fantasy football. Personally, my favorite thing to live by in the preseason and when it comes to the waiver wire is less is more. We don't know what the performers are going to be like. So yeah, we're calling out Green Eggs and Cam when it comes to the recent activity on the waiver wire. However, we must give him his props for his research and finding of the one and only, whatever his name, Antonio Gibson from the Washington football team. After the cutting of Adrian Peterson, it looks like he's going to carve himself out a bigger role in the offense, and that may come to see more points for Green Eggs and Cam.
Yep. Other news from around the league, Leonard Fournette signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Don't exactly know who that helps out at this moment in time. Carter Thweatt, probably not, because they seem to think that Ronald Jones is their man up in Tampa, but I'm not sure I believe that either, so we're just going to have to wait and see how that all turns out. There's one other thing I want to talk about, but I don't remember what it was, so we're just going to move on.
I will interrupt you back on that Leonard Fournette topic. That doesn't help me at all. With Ronald Jones in my lineup, hoping to have him as a legitimate RB2, the signing of Leonard Fournette really hurts that, as does Detroit signing Adrian Peterson. That puts a damper on my hopes for DeAndre Swift, along with the injury that he's had to his lower extremity. So things aren't looking great for my RB2 spot, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully Ronald Jones lives up to the...
At least you're not hating. Imagine having Tariq Cohen as your RB2, right? Yeah. All right, we're going to be moving on to the new power rankings. You're here. You had a few of the problems with my power rankings. The cameraman can just take a quick glance, remember. You're just going to want to focus on the red. The green was the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Connor King, that was his pick, so just kind of ignore them.
Yeah, I definitely agreed with the... top of the list, as in number 12, with Carter Thweatt coming in at dead last.
I think we can all agree on that.
Perennial bottom feeder and all-around schmuck.
Amen.
I did actually agree a lot with Will Sager's rankings. My biggest problem came with the Make-A-Wish rankings, where they placed Tucker Cromwell ahead of me solely based off of merit. No offense, Tucker, but your roster's mediocre. Hopefully you can fleece Will Nixon once again for a trade that will put you back in the playoffs.
You know, fleecing might be a lot harder this year with the introduction of IBM trading tool. Wanted me to trade Kareem Hunt and DJ Chark for like T.Y. Hilton, so I'm not exactly sure who made that. I don't know if you can like pay the process to like suggest a bad trade, but you know, we'll see how it grades off Carter Thweatt's trade, since he's known to be one of the worst traders of all time. I think the Bible even said something about that.
With exception to that one trade that was made 2 years ago that was almost vetoed by the league, in which he did fleece me by giving me Le'Veon Bell in return for a plethora of contributing weapons, in which he never came back and played. So I really got the short end of the stick on that one.
Today we're going to be highlighting the game of the week. That's going to be a matchup of Jimmy Jesus versus Tariq Combs. Now the reason we did this, it's a perennial playoff team, Hayden Fly. I know that's shocking to hear that Hayden Fly is a perennial playoff team. He's one of only two people that have made the playoffs every year. Versus consistent bottom feeder Carter Thweatt. Now, who do you think is going to win to take this game?
Well,
just based off players.
Looking at the rosters, it's a little difficult because we do see that Jimmy Jesus is starting Tariq Cohen at his RB2 spot, which is an all-around oof for all of us here at Fantasy League Reddit and the High Risers show. But we are actually looking forward to this matchup because it is almost a grudge match between the two people, because Carter Thweatt still has the name Tariq Combs,
holding on to the past,
which is a disgrace because Tariq Cohen is not even on his roster. But we do see that Jimmy Jesus is starting Tariq Cohen, so we're going to see the grudge match between them to see who really can be the one and only.
Yeah. I'll talk about that a little more later with my hot take of the week, because I'm going with Hayden Fly this week. I think that he's going to have the edge. I think Tom Brady, Mike Evans, they're going to have something to prove this week against the Saints. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now moving to the next segment, this is something new. This is called the trading block. All right, if you want to contact me say one of your players is up. We might even FaceTime you in, get two people, make, matchmaker, do it with them. Could be a good time if you ever want to trade anybody. And then, we're going to do best matchups of the week. So these are your players that we think could pop off. Any Colts and Eagles players, because they're playing the Jaguars and the Washington football team, who I believe will have the number 1 and number 2 draft pick in this next year's draft. Anything to add?
Yeah, I have a matchup that I like. Hooked on a Thielen looks like you're in for a good week. I think James Conner running against the New York Giants is going to be a big game on Monday Night Football, so it'll be prime time. I think he turns in a big performance, something to prove for sure.
Yep. And then hot take of the week. My hot take, Brady throws for 4 touchdowns and Gronk catches 2 of them. I think that is inside the realm of possibilities. I think that the Saints are not as good as everyone thinks they are, and I think that Buccaneers have a chip on their shoulder this year.
My hot take is Ryan Tannehill outperforms Dak Prescott in fantasy football this week. I think if you're an owner of one of those players,
it's crazy.
It's Carter Threet. He owns Dak Prescott and Ryan Tannehill. So you may want to second guess your choice of starting quarterback. I really do think Ryan Tannehill will turn in a big performance on Monday Night Football. Proving the doubters wrong, making everyone realize that he's worth the big contract that he was paid. And on the flip side,
just got his.
Exactly.
Dax has paid him there.
Dax, yes, exactly. And I think Dak underwhelms because he's a mediocre quarterback.
We're going to get one sponsorship in right now. This is from the Harding Walmart for all your produce and wedding venue needs. That is the Harding Walmart at hardingwalmart.com. Great venue. Walk you down the aisle, 14, which is produce. It's great.
I'd like to give a big shout out to my sponsor who allowed me to be here. I'm really grateful for them. It's r/fantasy football. Really gave me and my friend Anderson all the advice we needed to have a strong draft this year. And if it weren't for fantasy football on Reddit, I don't think Anderson would be the stud he is today in fantasy football, and he would still be taking kickers in the first round.
And speaking of Anderson, for my upset of the week, I'm taking Green Eggs and Cam over Baskin Dobbins. I think J.K. Dobbins is not going to be an integral part of the offense, and I think Alvin Kamara, I don't know if he's even going to play the first week, so I just don't know where that leaves Anderson or Mason. Keyshawn Vaughn, Matt, it's a tough place to be. I think Anderson. I think he takes up the Douglas.
I also think that on top of that, DK Metcalf as a wide receiver too, he is more of a boomer bust player. Big plays, long touchdowns. I think this week he doesn't turn in a big long touchdown, which leaves him with a lower point total, coupled with the fact that J.K. Dobbins probably won't be a huge part of the offense because Lamar Jackson takes a lot of carries in that offense.
And Mitch Trubisky named the Week 1 starter, so Allen Robinson might get 10 points this week off of 10 receptions.
And then next week he will have 2.7. So that is a hard time for the old cameraman over there. We're hoping he can turn it around and hopefully get some of those big booming weeks and make it to the playoffs.
All right. That's going to be the show for this week. Let's thank our guests once more. If you want to be on the show, just shoot me a text message and we'll see if we can make it work. Until next time, remember the rankings. We'll be discussing them on this next Tuesday's show, The High Risers.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.